Oh, hi! Come on in, let's chat. Welcome to Bedtime Histories. I'm Shelby. I'll be your host probably every time you click on my face. Today we're going to be talking about the Wife of Bath's tale in the Canterbury Tales. Now we could probably have a 24 video series on the Canterbury Tales because there's 24 Canterbury Tales. But today we're just going to be focusing on one. The Wife of Bath. And boy is she interesting. Now, Chaucer writes this very creatively. The Canterbury Tales, if you're not familiar with them, is a conglomerate story that includes 24 tales. Now, Chaucer bases all of this around the idea that a group of people are traveling together to go to Canterbury to visit the shrine of Thomas Becket, who we probably will talk about eventually, but don't worry about that right now. On this trek, on this voyage, on this pilgrimage, whatever you want to call it, these people are taking turns telling stories. And whoever wins this contest that they're having gets the prize of dinner. Yay! Regardless, we get a lot of good stories from Chaucer out of this. One of my favorites is The Wife of Bath, but I have mixed feelings on it. However, it is the rule of thumb in bedtime histories that I'm not going to tell you my opinion on these books. Sometimes it will come out a little accidentally, but we will try to swallow that so you can have your own opinion. The Wife of Bath herself is a very interesting woman. In her prologue, we find out that she has been married 5 times. Now, she admits that a few of the marriages were based off of her wanting their money, but she truly did feel like she loved and pleased all of her husbands, and they loved her and pleased her back. She claims that she met her 5th husband at the funeral of her 4th husband. And you know, I'm always saying personally, if you can't find a new spouse at your current spouse's funeral, why even look? Am I right, ladies? She claims that her 5th husband is her favorite husband. It was her true love, the apple of her eye, her other half, etc., etc. Now, there were a few occasions where she felt like he was ruining her life, or he beat her, but you know, other than that, it was true love. It was kismet. The stars aligned, if you will. The Wife of Bath begins her tale by establishing that this is taking place in the time of King Arthur's court. Now, King Arthur's time, she recalls, was the time of magic, fairies, wondrous magic. However, now it's been replaced with times of friars and corrupt activity. This could be Chaucer making a statement, which it is. He is making a statement. The story begins with one of King Arthur's knights. He's riding through the forest when he stumbles upon a beautiful virgin. He can't help himself. He jumps off the horse and jumps onto the girl. Of course, the kingdom finds out about it, especially King Arthur's court, and this is not acceptable behavior from a knight of King Arthur, let alone any gentleman. He is brought before King Arthur, and King Arthur can't even deal with him. He's disgusted with this kind of thing. And because it was a woman that was so egregiously hurt, he decides to let Gwendolen, his wife, the queen, determine this man's fate. Gwendolen takes one look at the man, and she's disgusted with him. But she takes it as an opportunity to teach him a lesson. She could order him to death, but she spares him. And the challenge that's laid before this man by Gwendolen is that he must tell her what it is that women want, what it is that they truly desire. And if he can do that, she'll spare his life. Of course, the man has no answer. This is a man who just raped a poor innocent woman in the woods. So he doesn't really know. And he tells her this. And she says, I'll give you 12 months. And if you can't answer me then, it's the axe for you. The man fearfully flees the court. He rides through town. He knocks on every door he can possibly muster the courage to knock on. People are telling him things that range from gorgeous clothing to being satisfied in bed. creep. He's not getting an answer that he thinks is right. He finally, on his way home, back to King Arthur's court, he looks into the woods and he sees 24 women dancing. He gets really excited because he's like, there's 24 women. Is that what 20 and 4 means? I think so. He knows if he can ask 24 women, or however many there were, then they'd be able to give him a good answer. So he starts approaching them, and then poof, they disappear into thin air. And all that's left is this raggedy, yucky old hag. He approaches her and he asks her, what is it that women want? And she says, well, I can help you, but in exchange, you have to do the next thing that I ask of you. And he's so desperate, he doesn't even read the fine print. He just says, yes, absolutely, whatever you want, it'll be yours, and I will do what you want me to do. Just tell me the answer so I can be saved and Gwendolyn doesn't chop my head off. So the old hag tells him what women want is to have sovereignty over their husband and lover. Basically, they want to have not all, but most of the power in a relationship. They want to be able to make the decisions. They want to be able to determine their own destinies in their relationships, and they want to be able to have the upper hand, if you will. He hops aboard his horse, and he rides to King Arthur's court, where he meets with Gwendolyn and the ladies of the court. Now, everyone is silent in the room while he announces what it is that women truly want. And surprisingly, no one can argue with him. They're all looking around thinking, he's probably right. That probably is what women want. It's what I want. And no one can argue with him. So Gwendolyn says that you obviously learned your lesson. You're free. Well, this old hag appears. And she's pushing through the crowd, and she says, excuse me, Gwendolyn, I have something to say. This man got the answer from me, and I told him I would only give him the answer if he gave me the next thing I desired. So what is it that you want, old lady? They ask. Well, the old lady looks him up and down, and she says, I want to be his wife. Because who wouldn't want to be, right? Obviously, he's a good guy who just rides around in the forest and molests people and is super gross. Like, who wouldn't want that, right? Well. Anyways, the guy is basically like, no, Gwendolyn, just kill me. I don't want to marry this old hag. Are you kidding me? I don't deserve that. And Gwendolyn's like, hey, man, you're before the court. She made an agreement with you. We're going to make you uphold that agreement. So you better marry her. Well, he takes her and has this private ceremony with no one invited where he marries her. And one night they're sitting in their bed, and a conversation strikes up. The old woman is basically saying, like, I know I'm not, like, young and hot, and I'm not, like, what you want in a woman, but I'm nice, and I'm loyal, and I'm wise, and I'm kind. Sure, I don't have, you know, the young features that I once had, but I'm still a good person, and you still are lucky to have me. He's like, okay, yeah, I'm really lucky to be going to bed with this wrinkled old hag. So she says, what do you want? Do you want me to look beautiful and cheat on you and not be loyal to you? Or do you want me to look like this and be loyal? The man, who has essentially, according to Chaucer, learned his lesson, looks at his wrinkly old haggish wife and he says, you know what, dear? I trust your judgment. Do what you think is best. And because of this, the hag receives what she truly wants as a woman, which is to have power to make her own decisions and have the upper hand in her relationship. So she is able to transform into a beautiful and loyal wife. Now, the Wife of Bath ends this wonderful tale by saying, may Jesus Christ send us husbands meek and young and fresh in bed, and grace to overbid them when we need. And Jesu, hear my prayer, cut short the lives of those who won't be governed by their wives. That is the tale of the Wife of Bath in Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. Do with it what you will. And as always, good night.